I watched some of Simon Sideways tonight, and I was just extremely impressed with one of his callers. There's a link to the full video in the description. This lad came on tonight at the end of the night. It was the last call that Simon had, and this lad is switched on. It's a good sign.
The whole system is unraveling, and at the moment, the cheaper, poorer third world countries are the ones facing the first rounds of getting really crushed. That's going to hurt their poor people and turn it into real desperate times over there. But it looks like
but this is being made, isn't it? This is not by any accident, is it?
No, it is. Like, I don't know how bad it goes through the World Economic Forum, but for all those politicians and world leaders saying build back better, before that, they've got to give us all a massive collapse that's going to make them so bad that everyone's going to turn to the system and say, please guide us, be in charge of us, tell us what to do. Like, we'll take on anything you say. You know, we'll bloody stop eating meat. We'll eat these bloody bugs. We'll do all these stupid things that give up our free will and our ability to critically think and do things for ourselves, because we're going to become supplicant to these billionaires and the celebrities and the politicians that run the system to allow them to get away with these agendas that are now going to start getting pushed through on the mainstream people. It's like, and now it looks like this might be the start of, I'm hoping they pump up the financial system one more time to keep it going for a few more years, because I want to accumulate some precious metals before the whole system fucking hits the fan. Like, there's a channel I watch called Superchat, and he was in China for like over 10 years, I think it was, and he had a YouTube channel for a very, very long time in China, and he had it through the good years of the last president that they had before Xi Jinping, and then he's had it since Xi Jinping came into power, and how much more nationalistic they've become over there. But their financial system's unraveling because their property market has, like, the Communist Party tried to rein in them taking on so much debt and acting so flamboyant with all the wealth they were accumulating, because there's this company called Evergrande, which is one of the largest property developers out there. They made their own football team, and then they were going to build a massive stadium, and the stadium was going to cost like tens of billions, and this is all money that's supposed to be used to build people's houses in China, but they've become so up themselves.
Yeah, we'll just take your money, and what are you going to do?
Yeah, they moved it. They tried making an electric car brand, and they pumped money into these ventures, and they've just been failures. So as soon as the Communist Party come down on them quite officially and said to the banks, you can't lend any more money to these property investors if they don't meet these three criteria. So one, they had to have a certain amount of credit. They had to have a certain amount of money in the bank, so they were still had assets and liquidity in their bank account. The second one was, I can't remember what the other two were exactly, but there were two other things, rules that they had to be able to meet, and they couldn't meet. Evergrande couldn't meet any of them. So that they're then becoming insolvent and triggering a load of protocols against the loans that they had out. So a lot of Chinese loans are priced in US dollars. So it means you can operate day to day in your local currency, but when it comes time to paying for your debt that you owe, and it's owed in US dollars, you've got to take your current Chinese currency and swap it into you've got to do a conversion into US dollars at whatever the rate is. So the stronger the dollar gets, or the weaker your currency gets, the more you're going to technically have to pay back for that loan. Even if that loan is $3 million and it's priced at $3 million, if your currency is valued 50% or the dollar's risen in value 100% versus your currency,
it makes a massive difference.
It makes a supremely massive difference. And they couldn't meet a lot of their foreign commitments. They couldn't meet a lot of their foreign debts. So
look how much they bought over here. They bought the ports up. They've bought industries up. They're the ones that are building the power station down the road with a few others.
Yeah. China was being looked to be willing to make investment all around the world when it was being allowed to be softly played. Like, so Trump brought all this up into, like, he brought it into the limelight. You know, he drew big attention on it. He called out that Huawei communications company and said, look, the geezer that owns and runs it, or is the chairman of it, he's ex-CCP for one of their spying divisions. So it's like, come on, really? It's like, your British intelligence can't see this, and the American CIA and blah, 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 our agencies can't see this.
They can see it. They know.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Trump is super nationalistic or a nationalist, and he wants a good entry into the history books. So he will fuck over the political system in the US. You know, he will he will activate the people, the US people, with patriotism and say, look, your political system is insidious, a political insidious snake that is consuming us from the inside and getting us ready for China becoming the next superpower.
Well,
right?
Look at the way, I mean, you can either do something that people thank you for now, or you could do something that makes you look like a bit of a shithouse now, but in future people will go, that was a brave man. Take Enoch Powell.
So I do not always agree with Mr. Reverend Simon Sideways, but I do agree with some of what he says, and I agree with a lot of what he says, and I really liked some of the things he had to say in his stream tonight. There's a link to the full video in the description. Go and take a look, give him a thumbs up, and subscribe if you like what you hear.
I asked him to change his name out of respect for the Queen and for the character that I played. He said, fuck off and do one.
Give me liberty or give me death!
You got that, Chief?